Hello there everybody, and welcome to another episode of Stefan's Kitchen. And this week we're going to be continuing on with the Asian flavor, and we're also going to be doing a soup this week. And as you know, there's not too many Asian soups that people try, so let's cook wonton soup. And this is not going to be too difficult of a recipe. There's going to be more work in making the wontons than there is in making the broth. And first what we're going to do, as you can see here, I actually have 2 packages of ground pork. They usually come in standard sizes anyway, so one is good enough for if you're just going to be doing it for yourself. And we're going to be adding soy sauce, about 2 tablespoons worth. And what we're going to do is we're going to let this marinate a little bit before we actually stuff them into wonton wrappers themselves. So that'll make for a better tasting wonton. Next, we're going to be using some cooking wine, some sherry, and we're going to add about, let's say about a tablespoon of cooking sherry. Next, we will add in some seasoned rice vinegar, and you only want about half a tablespoon to a tablespoon. I'm going to put a tablespoon in mine because I do have 2 packages. Now, please remember that I'm doing this with 2 packages, so you're going to want to half the ingredients. Next, we're going to be adding some sea salt and some black pepper, cracked black pepper. And obviously the grinder does the work for the cracked black pepper itself. About 2 teaspoons of salt. Next, you're going to want to add in about a teaspoon of black pepper. Now, again, I will be putting the grocery list at the bottom with the recipe as well, meaning that I will actually reduce the amounts for all these by half so that you actually can do it as for a single serving or a family dish. Now, wontons wouldn't be complete if they didn't have some chopped green onion in there. Now, as you can see, some of them look like they're really big pieces, but it's been really finely minced, and at the same time, they haven't the knife hasn't gone all the way through. So as you're mixing it up, they usually break up anyways. So don't worry about it too much if it's not minced exactly to the way you're liking. Now, once you have all the ingredients in the bowl together like this, basically you just mix it all together. You can use your hand. You don't need to go through the trouble of using a spoon or anything else or dirtying any more dishes. It's pretty straightforward. Just mush it all together, mix it all together, and just let it marinate until you got the soup or the broth boiling fairly well. Then you can actually start making your wontons, because the fresher your wontons are, the better that they taste and the better that they mix with the soup, I guess, for lack of better terms. Now, up next, we're going to be doing the broth, which is going to consist of 2 boxes of chicken broth. Each of these boxes are a liter each. And again, I'm making this for enough. I'm making this for a pot of soup and actually wontons. I'm not actually doubling the amount of wontons. So I guess if you do want to make wontons, you want to make wonton soup on the side, you can do that as well. The same thing I'm doing right now. So just empty 2 of your full 1 liters of chicken broth into there. Yeah, the typical wontons that you usually see at restaurants and stuff, at the Chinese restaurants and buffets, are usually just the wonton wrappers themselves. There's never anything in them. What I like to do is I do the same exact wontons that they make for their soup, the little meatball kind of on the inside, as you just see me mix up. And I deep fry those the way they are, like little purses, and once they're done and golden, everything's perfect on the inside. Oh, seems like I'm having a bit of trouble there with my oven. The knob just came right off. That was kind of funny. So, the wontons are a lot different. They're much more tastier. It's way better than just eating plain wonton, wrappers instead of, something good, like having something good inside, like the little meatball. So next we're going to add a little bit of sesame oil. Now, I use a sesame oil blend, which I'm going to be using a little bit more of that than, as you can see, I used about a teaspoon there. But if you're going to be using pure sesame oil, you can use about several drops. And just season it to the way that you feel tastes good to you, because too much can be really overpowering, really overbearing, and too little can make it just taste like soy sauce and chicken broth. And, as you can see next, we're going to be actually adding some soy sauce to the broth. And I add about a tablespoon to mine when I usually do it. Now, I guess there must be something on the bottom of the pot, because it seems like it started to smoke there on the bottom, so you want to make sure you don't have that happen too often. Now, here comes the harder part, the wonton, making the wontons themselves. As you can see here, I have a nice package of wonton wrappers. What I like to do is I'll take a little tiny piece of meat. As you can see, I'll just take, not too much. You don't want to make them too big or, anything like that, or they won't cook properly. And you just take a small little amount, make a little meatball like that in your hand. Take up your wonton wrapper, place it right in the middle here. Fold it over from on diagonal, so it's corner to corner. And then That way you have a nice little triangle. Now, before we do that, I just wanted to show you how you fold them. You take a little bit of evaporated milk, or even regular, regular milk can work as well. And you just take 2 of those edges and put milk all the way down those edges. This will actually make the dough itself bind to the other side of the dough that's drier, and it'll actually seal up your wontons, and thus keeping your meatball in there really nice and clean, nice and fresh. And your wontons aren't going to open up while you're in the middle of making your soup. So you can see, if there's a little bit too much of meatball inside of your wonton, don't be afraid to open it back up. Take out some of the meatball and put it back into the bowl. Then what you want to do next is just fold against the flaps that we have there, so that you're almost doing like a zigzag up the flaps of the wonton wrapper itself, and pinch it together at the top. That's basically all I do. Now I'll just do it one more time just to show you guys. Now, as you can see, a little tiny meatball. Put it right in the middle of the wonton wrapper. Now this time I don't have too much meat, so this should go very well. A little bit of milk there on that edge, a little bit of milk there on that edge. We fold it over so dry edges meet the wet edges. And what we're going to do next, make sure you don't have any excess meat on the outside. We pinch it all the way down here first, like that. Then we start bending in the zigzag, like I was saying before. Then we do the other side. Then we pinch it together at the top, like that. See? And then you have the perfect wontons, and I guarantee you they will not fall apart, whether they're in the deep fryer or in your soup. And once you actually have the broth boiled up and you have enough wontons for the amount of soup that you want, what you do is you just drop your wontons directly into the soup. Don't let it boil. Let it simmer really, keep the liquid hot. Because if you actually leave the liquid boiling, what will happen is that it might actually make your wontons want to split open. So, like I said, try and keep your liquid hot so that they can have a chance to the heat itself will actually penetrate the wonton itself and cook them properly. And that way you have full, whole wontons in your soup, and you'll come out with a perfect soup every time. Now, if you want to, the barbecue pork that I made one time before, you can take slivers of that, put it in your wonton soup, and also add a few more of minced green onions. And that's pretty much it. Sorry, I had to loop the video here just to make sure that I had something for you guys to watch instead of black screen. But anyways, that's pretty much it. Once your wontons are cooked all the way through, you can take one out, cut it in half just to make sure that the meat's all the way cooked. And yeah, it should come out perfect every time. So thank you guys as always for watching. I'm Stefan. This has been another episode of Stefan's Kitchen, and feel free to do a video response and send it to me. Thanks for watching.